Hi everyone, here's my final project. I call it the mygrainsynth. It is basically a granular synthesizer, and what that is a device that rapidly repeats a small grain or a little snippet of sound. And here, we're doing it in the order of somewhere in the 10 to 10,000th of a second range, so it's very, very short. Now, on the mygrainsynth, we have a set of potentiometers here, 5 potentiometers and a couple switches. This is the scale pitch. These are both granule pitch, which sounds a bit like filter frequency, and these two control granule decay, which is a bit like filter resonance. And the scale control is stepped to and tuned to a pentatonic scale. The rest of them are smooth. The Arduino code is actually pretty cool and quite efficient. Instead of storing a grain of audio in the Arduino, it generates the grain in real time using counter variables. They count up and then down at a rate determined by the phase increment variable. This is in the code. Now, if you were to plot the value of these variables over time, each one would give you a triangle waveform. So that these each will give you a triangular waveform. The phase increment variables are directly controlled by two of the Arduino inputs. These are the first two, the pitch controls right here. Adjust these potentiators up and down, and you'll hear a frequency component of the output, and it rises and falls in pitch as the relevant triangle wave increases and decreases in frequency. But these are not the main pitch controls. They vary up and down, and the quality of the note will change. However, the main note on the scale will stay the same. Now, the scale pitch is controlled by the variable sync phase inc. It has an interesting job, and it controls the rate at which yet another counter, sync phase ACC, overflows. Now, whenever this counter overflows, it resets the two triangle waveforms into an initial synchronized position. This periodic resetting of the two waveforms is basically what causes the repetition of a repeatable grain of sound. The rate of repetition, which is controlled via this knob, gives the output its pitch on the pentatonic scale. But what's so cool about it is that it gives a very engaging sort of musicality to it as you increase and decrease the output frequency. It creates really interesting additional layers of tone and color to the output, and that's really the coolest part of it. Is this instead of picking and choosing your notes as you would say on a guitar or a keyboard, the pitch scale control is mapped to the pentatonic scale, so it goes up in steps through the pentatonic scale, and it gives you kind of this really cool bluesy sound, which is reminiscent of the major pentatonic scale. Now, I've also incorporated a delay effect, which basically gives it a sort of like an echo. It works by recording the output as is being generated, and then mixing the sound back in with itself after a delay. The result's kind of like a reverby sound, mild echo. It's about 1/8 of a second delay. And I've also incorporated a small amplifier circuit because the original design would go out to a jack, and I wanted it to be all contained and go through the speaker. I've also included a small control panel to indicate what knobs are on and how they're functioning. I've also changed in the programming code of the Arduino that LED 13 on the board itself down there, when it goes on, it indicates that the delay is on or off. So, without further ado, let me demonstrate. So here we have the rate very low, and both granular pitches very, very low. But as we bring them up, and let me turn on the delay, you might be able to hear the echo through the video. And here's where it gets real fun. That's the pentatonic scale there. So, and we can play with the decay. The decay doesn't do a whole lot except for they interact with each other here. These with the pots, with the pitch frequency pots. But most of the time I find that they just create a lot of noise. You can see they kind of lend themselves a little more sawtooth form. But play with all three of these together. And that is the mygrainsynth. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great summer break, everyone.